I had a lot of fun working out a solution to this problem from colleague Joe Stokes. So let's take a look at this data. So as mentioned in the challenge, for each row we have each session that the player has taken part in and their score for that session. So we're going to assign a quick ID to them. So basically we're just ranking these dates. So ranking these dates as a dense rank, and we're doing it for each player and for each session. So if I look, for example, now at player 1 and their agility, then I can see that we've ordered their sessions. Okay, so I want to work out what the next session is. So I'm going to use a calculated field to say the next ID would be our current ID -1. So that always confuses me a little bit. Why is it -1? But basically, if we're looking at this data set and we can see, okay, player 15's at the top and agility, but this is their first and their second session. If I want to do a join to bring this date up onto the previous row, I actually need to do a minus from it. So this will become a 1, this ID, so that when I join, it will take everything from this row up to be in line with this first row. Okay, so that's why we do that -1 there. So we remove a couple of fields that we don't need, and we rename the date field to be next date. And actually we want a -1 from this. So the reason that we want to do that, so if you think about it, if we've got, say, let's see, so this player 15, yes, this is actually quite a good example. So for example, we're minusing 1 from this date when it's up on the same row as it, because we want it to go to the 4th of January instead of to the 5th, because we already have our row existing for the 5th of January, so we only want to create that additional row for the 4th of January. Okay, so we join these two together, and we do a left join here, so we don't leave behind any sessions that are at the end, basically. So yeah, we do that. So if we see here, so for example, sorry, these are all of our sort of maximum IDs. These ones here, which we're including as part of the left join, these are all the sessions that don't have a session following them. That's why we're doing it as a left join. So then we remove again some unnecessary fields, and for these null values of the next date, that's all of our end sessions, the last ones in our data set. So we want to replace these nulls with the maximum date in the whole data set. So we calculate that first using a fixed LOD. So we just find the max date there, and then we say if that's null, the next date, then put in the max date. Otherwise, keep it as the next date. Okay, and then we do our scaffolding. So we do our date up until our next date, and we want to make sure that we change this to be copy rows from values from previous row, so that all of those scores get carried over to the next training session. And we can see how that's working and filling in all those missing dates, which is wonderful. So to create that little flag to say, is this an actual day or is it a carried over score? We're just going to use a flag to say if that date is equal to the session date. So we created the date in our new rows field. That was what the name of that field is in my case. And we're saying if that is equals, then that's the actual value. Otherwise, it's carried over. So if we just take a look there at one of the carried over examples, for example, yeah, we can see that our session date and our current date aren't the same. That means that it has been brought through because we had that next date field and we did that scaffolding. And so this has been carried over, whereas our actual, all of the dates here match our session dates, and therefore that will mean that it was already existing in the data set before we did anything. Okay, so we just remove a couple of extra dates there again. And final step, we just want to remove the weekend. So we duplicate this session date field and we go to convert dates, and we're going to convert it to being, if it brings up the menu there, the day, where's the day gone? Day of the week, there we go, day of the week. So it will come out Saturday, Sunday, etc. So we convert that to Saturday and Sunday, and then we just exclude Saturday and Sunday. So we just say exclude, and that will remove them from our data set, and we're left just with the 6,750 rows that we want from this. So hopefully you enjoyed this challenge, and thanks very much for watching.